fighting for a long time. I had 22 fights in UFC. 15 of my fights is for a world title. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of criticism. One day, you know, when I feel like it, I might come back. But right now, I need a break.
For the past 2 or 3 years, a lot of people have talked about Rory MacDonald versus George St. Pierre. They're teammates. People constantly asked Rory, constantly asked George, will you two fight each other? They said no.
Certainly you hate to see a champion as great as George St. Pierre walk away from the sport, but it really does add some life back into the 170-pound division.
Rory MacDonald can assume that throne if he wants to. He's going to have to beat Maia and win a couple more fights before he gets to that point, but the future is wide open for him to become champion.
Now that George is not the champion, it definitely takes off pressure from me. I'm focused on winning my next fights and getting that belt. That's all I really see in my near future.
Keep the hands up, Rory. Hands high. That's right. Keep them up.
Rory MacDonald is part of that new generation of mixed martial artists that we say we all can't wait to see. Guys that have been training in every single art since they were little kids.
Stick that jab to the button, Rory. Stick that jab downstairs. There you go. There you go. That's it. Down and up with that jab, MacDonald. Down and up with that jab.
Rather than being someone who specialized in jiu-jitsu or specialized in wrestling and specialized in boxing, Rory started training everything at the same time.
He's one of the very first guys that we've seen that started out in mixed martial arts and has got a lot of hype behind him.
And really was looked at as a future champion from the moment he stepped in the octagon.
When I was 14, I found the gym that I started doing MMA training at. From there, it just took off. I quit all my other sports and really focused my life on mixed martial arts. Money or no money, I knew that that's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I fell in love with it, and I started getting really good, and I started fighting professionally, and it just had a life of its own from there.
I'll never forget watching Rory MacDonald throw Nate Diaz around the cage at UFC 129 because nobody had ever done that to Nate Diaz.
Takes him for a big huge slam. And big punches by MacDonald. And he kicks him around. Wow! He's throwing Diaz all over the octagon. Unbelievable strength being displayed by MacDonald. Strength and technique. Perfect technique. Truly is one of the most exciting prospects in MMA.
A boxer and a jiu-jitsu fighter, fighting out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Rory MacDonald!
When Rory MacDonald fought BJ Penn, it was seen as a big test for him, a guy who was a veteran, who knew all the tricks, and was Rory MacDonald ready to compete at the top level?
Here. BJ's fading a bit, Mike. Brilliant combination. Left hook, right hand by Rory, and then a front kick to cap it off. He's got a circle
again
into
to the body.
Big shot.
This may be it.
BJ's wobbling. You never know what you're going to see from him because he improves every time.
In Rory MacDonald's last fight, he faced off against a guy many, myself included, thought he was going to handle easily, Robbie Lawler.
And this is a big fight. It would be a huge, huge statement.
This is a contrast in styles. The differences between these two guys is that Robbie relies more on instincts and explosion. Head kick by Lawler.
That he might
big
hit
punches
once
by
and
Lawler.
it'd be over.
He tagged Rory.
Yep.
He tagged him with an uppercut as well. Oh!
Knocks him down with a combination.
I don't think you necessarily saw the passion, the aggression, the fire in his eyes.
For the winner by split decision, Ruthless Robbie Lawler!
Maybe we put Rory MacDonald on this pedestal too early. Maybe it wasn't time for us to talk about him as a championship contender.
Just 1 month after that fight at UFC 167, George St. Pierre vacated his title and it was announced that Robbie Lawler would have a chance to compete for the belt. Rory MacDonald had let a golden opportunity slip through his fingers.
Seeing Lawler get the title shot, it goes through your mind, you know, what if, and thinking I could have been there. You know, all these little things are there, but I think this is meant to be. I was meant to lose that fight. At that time, my training, my motivation for being champion, having that killer instinct, seemed faded. I was getting pulled away from what I actually loved about the sport, which I've found myself focusing on now. That performance and that loss really lit a fire under me and reminded me of the spark I need to be champion.
Demian Maia is one of the world's best at jiu-jitsu.
Utterly terrifying when he gets you to the ground. It's only just a matter of time before he would submit you.
He's got it. It's deep. This is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my goodness.
This may be the end. Look at that. Bam. That's it. He is out. He is out. It's all over.
Plain and simple, he is one of the best submission experts on the planet.
Anyone who scratches their head at grappling or says they're not into MMA because of those aspects needs to watch a Demian Maia fight.
Taking him down, very dangerous off his back. All Maia thus far. MacDonald right now is in deep, deep trouble. That's how good Demian Maia is. Unbelievable.
When Demian Maia made his UFC debut, he fought at middleweight. We saw him rocket his way up the standings.
He got up to be the #1 contender, fought Anderson Silva a few years ago. Obviously didn't go the way that he wanted it to, but then again, not many guys had it go the way they wanted to against Anderson Silva.
And still the UFC middleweight champion of the world.
Demian Maia ultimately elected to drop to 170 pounds. I think he felt his body was a little more well-suited for welterweight, and the results have shown.
After I fight against Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman, and some guys like Mark Munoz, I was much smaller than the guys.
Some heavy leather thrown by Munoz.
Everybody's taller, everybody's stronger, so if I would drop to the welterweight, I would have more advantage. Welterweight is my natural weight class.
So at 170 pounds, I think Demian Maia kind of went back to his roots a little bit. He kind of returned to the submission grappling game and brought in a little bit of aggression and a little bit more strength at 170 pounds.
First time at 170 for the man who won 9 times at 185.
170 is his proper weight. He looks healthier. He looks more defined. He looks quicker.
This is not good for Dong Young Kim. Incredibly difficult to take this young man down, but Demian Maia does it and mounts him. And that is it. Damian's got him up in the air and they're down. He's going to switch it to palm and just crush his chin to finish it here. And it's all over. Demian Maia submission. What a sensational Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu artist that man is.
Demian Maia's third fight at 170 was against John Fitch, who, of course, people for years were saying this guy deserves another title fight. He's the second best guy in the world.
We knew that if we wanted to fight for the title, we need to pass to a test like that.
Here's the shot. He's got the single. He's got him down. Drags him down. He's got him down again. Now he's going palm to palm.
What we are seeing is dominance in the control position of Demian Maia.
Makes it not even a close fight. That was really the moment that people saw Demian Maia was really this good at 170.
Demian Maia reels off 3 straight wins, has people thinking that he might be a title contender again at 170 pounds until he runs into Jake Shields.
It didn't go the way he wanted on the judges' scorecard, but it was a close split decision.
6 months ago, we were looking at Rory MacDonald and Demian Maia as potential title contenders.
They're both coming off losses in this fight. That's the big thing. These are 2 guys that have a lot to prove.
They are both still contenders, and the winner of this fight puts himself in a really, really nice position, maybe to face the winner of that Johnny Hendricks-Robbie Lawler fight.
Everything depends on my next fight and depends on my performance in the next fight. The day I will be fighting Rory, for me in my mind, is like the last day of my life.
I plan on destroying him when I walk in there that night. I don't really care about his jiu-jitsu pedigree. This is a fight. I'm here to knock his head off. The performance I'm capable of, I'll have the title shot.
With the longtime champion sidelined, the door is open for top welterweights to stake their claim for gold. Former training partners have a score to settle. The undefeated newcomer will debut on short notice and attempt to make a statement. Questions about the much-anticipated weight cut will be answered. And the reigning champ will put her belt on the line for the second time in 8 weeks. Undefeated Olympic medalists will clash in a true test of wills. UFC 170.